Kavel Hashem, Chazak ve'ametz libecha. Have hope to Hashem, and He will give you strength. Kaveh, with a good kaveh, you'll get some good strength. Kavel Hashem. If you need nocha, strength, the Kavel Hashem. That's the tzveita, that's the second. The siyata d'shmaya. See, the tzaddikim used coffee. Be careful, coffee is a powerful energy. Very careful with coffee. You have to use it very responsibly. One of the ikr things by coffee is make sure to keep your body alkaline. Coffee is very acidic, has a lot of koyach in it. That's why you have to balance it with the green juice life. If you have that green juice life, then you're in good shape. Otherwise, you get that like coffee bug out, and it's not good. You have to stay alkaline. I think we should introduce green juicing in the yeshiva world, far and wide. 4 corners of the yeshiva globe, green juice stations, obviously checked, bug-free, proper, and green juice. So we're in Ois Gimel, and Reb Nachman is going into this very deep world for us. And we explained how when there's a tsar, so the blood rushes to the heart because the heart feels. And the blood is really looking for an eitzah. And just like when there's a tsar in a community, Rahman al-Islam, so people run to the tzaddik. He's like the heart. And when the tzaddik is able to provide that eitzah and overcome the tsar, so then the blood moves properly around the body. The talucha, which is called halacha. And we said this is what it means when a woman gives birth. And Chazal teaches that before a woman gives birth, so her legs become cold. And all of the energy courses up to the womb to give power that we should be able to deliver this child. And even though there's a lot of tsar there, as the blood is rushing to the womb and the legs are getting cold, it's all for the purpose of bringing life into the world. And we said that's what halacha is. Halacha is bringing life into the world. So let's look inside, because he's about to just take this. And this is not even when the Torah gets like really next level. This is all like the introduction to the spaceship. But you just see Rabbeinu is so deep. He's thinking about the world in such an advanced way. And we said through halacha and through the shashui olam haba, through that birth will happen more easily. So it means physical birth, but it also, we're talking about a spiritual birth. We're talking about birthing the days of Mashiach here. We're talking about a new birth of consciousness inside of us. I don't want to be the same old guy. Ki b'shah she'isha kairas leilid. At the time that the woman is getting ready and she's bending her legs in order to give birth, yarcha yiseya mitztamnois. The thighs become cold because the blood is rushing out of the thighs into the womb. Kamoisha Amar Rabbi Sein Zal, like the Gemara says, Vali de zeh naseh ha'ilada. And through this there is birth. Ki hadamim oilan lamala, because the blood goes above. Va'azai nidchak amokum sham, as the blood is leaving the legs in order to get up into the womb, so the womb becomes active in order to create contractions that will bring out the child. That's why it's going from the extremities. Va'azaihem doichim es havlad lachutz. As the blood is coming up, it's pushing, creating pressure, that Baruch Hashem, the baby will come out. And after that is complete, the blood goes back to normal circulation. Doesn't stay the whole time in there. That would be very intense if a woman had contractions all the time. That's not healthy. It's healthy when you need to bring a baby out, but when you don't, so let the birth happens. Sometimes contractions after, when the placenta has to come out. And then let's let the blood go back to just equilibrium in the body. Shezeh bechinas toida halacha. This is called the birthing of halacha. Halacha means I'm bringing a consciousness into the world, a new consciousness into the world. And this is toida, the consciousness of acknowledgement. Hashem runs the world. Shehu bechinas taluchos adamim. And this is what it means. Talucha means the normal coursing of the blood. That's the halacha. That's the halicha. That's toida. That's shashue olam haba. Shechayzrim leilech kaseder kanir lael. As everything goes back as the way that it's supposed to be. So now look what the Rebbe says. Ki gam halacha hi bechinas haylada. Ki yesh tamchei oiraisa. Halacha, when you learn halacha, this is also called giving birth. When you learn halacha, you're giving birth. What? It means spiritually speaking. Spiritually speaking, when you're able to learn a halacha and bring a new insight into the world, you're birthing a God consciousness, and that you're birthing a concept that God wants me to live in this way. That I go from just Hefkervelt, I do whatever I want. Remember Sundays, boys? Oh. You know what I'm saying? Some guys are like, what do you mean? I still do know about a Sunday. So, remember like a day that you did nothing?
Red zone.
Red zone?
1 to 8, just sitting.
Just sitting, nacho, cheese. It was just a day of doing nothing. You know there's something in halacha called shachris? And by the way, it even happens on a Sunday.
Oh.
A Jew never has a day off. The shachris. You gotta daven. No, I thought it's just like a write-off day. You just, Halacha starts to guide a new consciousness of a reality of how to live life. That's halacha. So we're going to see that halacha is a world of birthing a new reality. We're giving birth to a new reality. And who are the ones that allow the birth to happen? Okay, this is an amazing concept. Says the Rebbe, Ki yesh tamchei oiraisa. There's something called those that support Torah learning. There are those that support Torah learning. Those that financially help. That they build Torah learning. We're going to see that what we're talking about is all based on the koyach of those that are supporting financially Torah learning. So look what he says. This is just Nachman's amazing. They give money. Mammon. You know how else you say money? A damim. They give their damim. They give blood. That doesn't mean blood. It means dam. Damim means money. So look what Rav Nachman's just about to do something amazing. They give their mammon l'oim de Torah. But what happens in the beginning? When they give away their money, so seemingly they're losing something, right? In the beginning, they're losing out, right? And if I have $1 million in my account, and I give away $100,000, so I have $900,000. I have less. They're giving to build Torah. They're lacking. They gave away their damim. So look what he says. This is what it means that the legs of the woman become cold before birth, because the legs of the woman are sending her blood to that area. So she's losing out. The legs are not in the greatest state right now because the energy is getting pushed into the womb in order to allow the Haylada to happen. But what's the purpose that the blood should be leaving the legs and going into the womb? Is in order to bring a birth, bring something, a higher consciousness. So as the Toimchei Ayraisa, as they're giving their money, their dam, what are they doing it for? Well, they're doing it in order to allow a birth of new halacha to come into the world through the flow of tzaddikim and the flow of Torah and the flow of yeshiva learning. So in the beginning, it looks like they're losing something because the blood is getting pushed into that area. But that's only to allow a birth of new halacha. And after that birth happens, then the ta'alucha, the regular coursing of the blood, will come back and they'll be pumped up with blood again and all the new halacha that they were responsible for bringing into the world. That's mamish amazing Torah. Plus, donate here, and really what's happening is that's the dam of the Yarchas Seyam Mitzdananais, and it's coming up to the womb, and the womb is allowing the whole flow. It's beyond. We have to just mention a little bit of just understanding the whole nature of what's really going on here to the best that we can in a few minutes, is that if I were to ask you, what are the spheres? The spheres are like what you see in the pictures in Tzfat. On my screensavers, the spheres. So on a simple level, the spheres are the way, maybe like software, if you will, software that God uses to create and run all the universes. And it happens to be that He put that same software into you and I. So it's the software, the cosmic software that God uses to create and run all the universes. And if that software, and we're going to use the word flow, is working properly, then the energy from the highest place comes through the system to this world in a healthy way. Which means bonai, chaim zoinai means ganz git, everything is good. There's bracha coming into the world. There's children coming into the world. There's happiness coming into the world. There's love coming into the world. There's compassion. There's abundance coming into the world. There's liquid gold for all coming into the world. There's goodness filling the world. Goodness. That's when all the spheres are lined up in a healthy way, and that energy is moving through the system. If, God forbid, something is stuck, it's like a pipe. If something's stuck, then the chef is not coming through, right? If a person really thinks about pipes, you'll learn a lot about the nature of the world. Like whenever I hang out with plumbers, I talk to them like, you should know So some of them are real, like, they know things, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm just bringing the shefa down. I'm just making sure the shefa is flowing. You don't want anything to be stopped up in the shefa. Or like real cardiologists who understand this stuff. It's like, yeah, if there's a block in the pipe, that's bad. There was a certain cardiologist, a very famous guy. So he created certain stents for the heart to basically open up blockages, which is an immediate relief for a person that has a blockage, lo aleinu, chas v'shalom, and you put a stent into that spot, and it immediately opens up the artery. It's an immediate relief. It's good, unbelievable. So he understands that if there's any, God forbid, block in the flow, that's bad. And the whole nature of health is that there's flow coming through. A gastroenterologist would also understand this, is that if there's anything not working in the flow, that's going to create a lot of problems. I want there to be flow through the system. So those are all pipes. Some of them are a little bit more delicate, some of them are made out of stainless steel, but they're pipes, sachakol. The spheres operate a little bit like that, is that there has to be a flow of things moving through, like the coursing of the blood through the system. So, in a very simplified version, there's very, very high worlds. And in those high worlds is unified God consciousness, and we want to bring that consciousness down into this world. And it goes through different energies to get here. To just say the words, even though, what do we know of these things? You have to go to, like mamish, big people to really understand this stuff. That there's something called Chachma and Bina and Das. And Chachma, Bina, and Das are intellectual powers. And they start to pull down energy. And each one has their own energy. Chachma is an energy of, it's called like the barak hamavrik, like a bolt of lightning that comes into your consciousness on our level, or to the consciousness of creation, like a flash. It's almost compared to, if you've ever been outside, like in the middle of the night, like maybe in a forest or something, and it was black, and then it's raining, and you're cold and you're lost, and all of a sudden, boom! Just a flash of lightning hits, and in 1 second you see the entire forest, like, wow! But then it goes dark again, and you saw it all, but you have to like trace it back now, but you saw it. You saw where you need to go. That's like Chachma. Chachma is also compared to the seed of a man when he gives that seed. So all the information is there, but it's there in a very, very powerful form. So it's almost hard to use it, it's so powerful. What needs to happen? It has to go to Bina. Bina now takes that and opens up and starts unwinding it. Have you ever been learning with a chavrusa and you learn the Gemara, like, I have no idea what's going on? Are we talking about gingerbread men? I don't even know what's happening. And next thing, and all of a sudden your chavrusa is like, I got it. So you say, yeah. So what's pshat? He's like, I can't say it yet, but I know that I got it. So you don't know it, bro. Like, you can't even say it. I know that I know it, but I just can't say it right. So it's still in Chachma. It hasn't gotten to Bina. Bina means I start lavin davar mitodav. I'm opening up the whole thing. I'm unwinding the whole concept. That's Bina. Das is that it doesn't remain an intellectual concept. I take what I know intellectually and I make it relevant emotionally. When something becomes relevant emotionally, you actually do something about it. You know what my proof is? The multi-trillion-dollar marketing industry. They're not talking to your intellect. They're talking to your emotions, and that's why you do stuff. Like, buy now. Because if you're pulled emotionally into something, you'll act on it. But we don't want to begin with our emotion, we want to begin with our intellect. Das is the bridge between what I intellectually know, I make emotionally relevant, that I'm going to now act based on my chachma and my bina. That's das. Chesed is that I'm moving forward towards something. Gevura means I'm withholding. Tiferes is the blend and the balance and the beauty. The beauty. Then comes Netzach and Hod. If for a human being, Chachma, Bina, and Das is located in the mind, in the throat, and Chesed is the gains on the right side, and Gevur is the gains on the left side, and Tiferes is the body. So Netzach and Hod are the two legs that hold up the person. Which means without the legs, you can't really go anywhere. The legs are that thing which is stabilizing the entire human being. And even lets you move to do stuff, to produce and do. Netzach means that I will be victorious, even if there's things that are trying to pull me down. Like Reb Nachman said, Natzachti ve'anatzech. I was victorious, and I will once again be. We have Masar that I was victorious as Rosh Hashanah, and I will be as Sukkot. I'll let you guys think about that vort, what that means, holding the lulavs. And Hoid means an absolute awareness that I could only do this with you, Hashem. And then Yesoid is then the final pipeline of that energy coming into actuality and the pleasure of that. And then Malchus is now you built the thing. You actually did it. So that's the entire system, as how things are coming into actuality and how we're building things. And if there's any problem along the way, then the shefa is not going to flow down and the project won't complete itself. Especially if your soid is off, it means that everything could have been lined up, but all the energy just got put somewhere else, then that's a big problem. That's why your soid is like the final part. Okay, so it says here in the Zohar that they're speaking about the pasuk Eitz Chaim Hi L'Machazikim Ba V'Soimchei Meushar. Probably all thinking of some song in your head right now. It's like Bapi. Or the slow one. Eitz Chaim Hi. So, what does this pasuk mean? Who said this pasuk? King Solomon. Shlomo HaMelech. There's a pasuk from Shlomo HaMelech that the Torah, Eitz Chaim, is a tree of life. For those who hold on to it, only if you grab onto it though. Eitz Chaim hi l'machzikim ba. It's going to be a tree of life, but you have to grab it. The Soimchei Meushar. And those who support it will be blessed. How do they translate that to English? And its supporters will be happy, will be meushar. There's other pshatim in the pshat of it, the mitzudas. Hatoymech oise begedorim v'sayogim hu meshubach. A person who makes sure to protect it is praised. So it says in the Zohar something. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yitzchak have azli ba'archa. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yitzchak were going on the way. Now, by the way, this is the same Rabbi Yehuda of Davar She'eino Miskaven. Is also Rabbi Shimon Mutter. It's important. You're in the same world, the same. It just happens to be that when the same Tanaim were sitting in the base medrash of Nigla, Rabbi Shimon was like any other Tana. And actually, most of the time, we don't pass on Rabbi Shimon. Except when those same Tanaim walked into Rabbi Shimon's base medrash, the base medrash of Nister, of Teres Chain, so they mamish crawled at his feet and called him the Boitzina Kadisha, the great fire, the Rashbi. That they understood that he is the final word, and we're bottled to his das in this inyan. It's very nice to know that these are the same chevra. When it came to Nigla, and Reb Shimon's a Tana, but you wouldn't see something that impressive in the Bavli about Reb Shimon. But when you come into this world, the more you go through Zohar, you'll see that the way that Reb Shimon is looked at is like it's a different thing entirely. It's important to know that his Shurish Neshama was to bring out Nister. So Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yitzchak, they were going on the way. Yasu Bahau Bei Chakla V'Tzal, they went to they were sitting by a certain field, and they were davening. Bosa the Saimut Tzloisa Kama V'Azlu. After they finished davening, they got up and they went. Posuk Rabbi Yehuda B'Mili Deraisa. So Rabbi Yehuda started to darshan, say Torahs. V'Omar Eitz Chaim Hi L'Machzikim Ba V'Soimchei Meushar. So he said the pasuk, and he started to then darshan. Eitz Chaim. What's the Eitz Chaim? Da Oraisa. This is the Torah. But Oraisa means Zer Anpin. It means the little face. It means those spheres of Chesed Gvur Tiferes, Netzach Hoid Yesod. That's Zer Anpin. The Torah Shebechsav is those energies. De'iu ilane ila rab v'sakiv. And this is the great supernal tree. Why is this the great supernal tree? Because it's makabel. That tree receives from the Gimel Rishonos, from Chachma Bina Das. It's receiving something. And it's gadol because of its chesed, and it's chazak because of its gevura, and it's called Torah. And they asked, Amai ikri Torah? Why is it called b'shem Torah? And they answered, begin de oire v'gali b'mai de havesosim, deloi is yoda, because it teaches us things that were hidden, that I don't know about. Torah means to teach, like hoira means to show us, to teach. The Torah is teaching me things that are hidden, meaning that the Torah is the zer anpin, that those spheres of chesed gevurah, they're revealing, they're teaching malchus, which is a female energy. They're teaching. The Torah Shebechsav is teaching. And of course, malchus is Torah Shebal Peh. And it's really teaching things that are hidden from even a higher place. Mash hayasasim bebina, v'lo haynoida b'chachma. Ve'amalchus shesoy Torah Shebechsav, hi megala hakol b'nei Yisrael. And this is now revealing things to us. When you open up a Torah, things are revealed to you. You start learning things. It's revealing things that are hidden above, and it's revealing things to you and I. So that's Eitz Chaim. And then it says, what about Chaim b'dafka? Why is the Torah called Chaim? The kol Chaim de la'ela ba is kilu mina nafka. All the life of above, everything, all the life is included in it and is coming out of the Torah. And this that it says lamachzikim ba, someone that strong holds on to it. The in and the achtin ba. These are those that are holding on to Torah in a very strong way, and they're teaching Torah all the time. Lamachzikim ba means people that hold Torah and teach Torah nonstop. You hang out with tzaddikim, they just say Torah. Their whole life is Torah. They're just saying Torah. The man the achid by raisa achid b'kula, because somebody who's holding on to Torah is holding on to everything, which means he's getting the shefa from all the way up there. And achid la'ela v'tatim, he's holding like this tree that goes from the highest spiritual worlds all the way to the bottom. It's like he's holding on. If you're holding on to the tree, it means you're holding on to the whole thing. I used to hang out with a lot of tree huggers. Okay? Maybe a different type. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good idea. We're tree huggers, you know what I'm saying? Besides the grounding element, but we're talking about holding on to the Ilan HaElyon. You got to be a tree hugger. I'm playing games. This is the real stuff. This is the eighth time you're hugging the tree. And what about the end of the pasuk? V'soimcheya meushar. Those that support it will be made great. Man toimcheya. Who are these toimcheya? Who are these donors? Ilan eden dematilan maloi lechisan shel tamidei chacham. These are the ones that are helping the Torah scholars. So one of the things is maybe they give them business, and they help them make a business, and they give them like schayra. Schayra means products. Maybe they let's say this person owns jewels or jewelry, so he gives the tzaddik gold or whatever, and he says, now you'll have, if people want to buy gold, they'll just buy it from you. And they help him like have a parnasa like that. They could do it like that. They could donate. One of the biggest things is to give somebody a way to make a parnasa, get somebody on their own 2 feet. So when they do that, what's happening? They're giving to the tzaddik who's holding the whole tree, and they're helping to hold up the tree though. They're holding up the tree. Now the tree is here to produce fruits. What are the fruits of the tree? is the divrei Torah from the tzaddikim. So when the tzaddikim say divrei Torah, they're producing fruits. They're birthing things into the world. The ones that are supporting the tree, they're holding onto the tree financially. They're allowing now that these fruits should be able to come into the world. Kamad ukmua v'soimcheya zochi l'neviya mehemne de yipkun minei. And when they support the tree, they're given goodness themselves. What the Zohar is saying is they start having good kids themselves. Remember, they're helping that fruit, kids are called fruit. They're helping that fruit and Torah should come into the world. So by them supporting it, they themselves are given good fruit. So let's take this back to us. And he speaks out that those that are supporting Torah are the ones that are called Netzach and Hoid. So let's go back to Reb Nachman. There's more here. This is it's just too good, you know. When Reb Nachman said that those that are supporting Torah, they're the situation like the legs that become cold, that now are pushing blood into the womb in order to bring about a birth. And we said that's what it means to support Torah financially, is that those people lose something. They don't have the same money. But what happened? They pushed the money into the womb, the damim. They pushed it into the womb, allowed for a birth to happen. A birth means new halacha, new insight to come into the world, new shefa to flow from the highest worlds. They are the legs, that's what it means. They became cold. They are the legs. So even though in the beginning it seems like they're lacking, but as the birth happens, then the body once again fills with healthy circulation, and they have the merit that they brought that child into the world. Pardon? Their mamash zvun holding up and allowing the birth to happen. And the birth, Rav Nachman just showing you how this is all happening even in the physical world. Further in the Zohar, he might not talk about this. Rav Nachman showing you think this is only in the Ilamas, that those that are supporting Torah is like Netzach and Hoid, and Netzach and Hoid means the Shefa is coming down, and that's a Leda of Torah. Even this is in our bodies. That's the amazing thing about Rav Nachman. He brings you so much into your body, into like life, like the life experience, which is the big thing that the Baal Shem Tov was into, is bringing the Torah into the experience of the human being. Rav Nachman just took this to a whole nother level.
Does that mean like, let's say, giving money towards Torah is in a sense more like powerful? Because if you never gave that in, that Torah would never come in. Yes.
You should see the way that those that support Torah, the way that the tzaddikim give them tremendous honor, appropriately so. Even people that are not such great scholars. And you would have thought, ein kavod ela Torah. The kavod is how much Torah you have. The kavod is how much Torah you have. There was a famous maisa with a person in Bnei Brak, and he came to Rav Steinman, and he wanted to know if he could buy, I think this was about 20 years ago, like a really expensive Lexus in Bnei Brak. So people have cars there, generally not Lexuses, especially not fancy ones. And he asked Rav Steinman, like, could he get one? So Rav Steinman said, like, do you know Shas Baal Peh? I'm like a bit like more of a business guy. Like I don't. Okay, I don't. You know, like a seder of Shas Baal Peh, like Moyed, like Kodshim. But I know, right? Do you know like a seder like like Gemara Rashi Tosfos, like Tur Shulchan Aruch Noisa Kelim? It's like and not It's like I know like a few Masechtas, like Baal Peh. Like, no, like I could probably say Shach V'Tarya like pretty okay, like decently, and I'd be like a parak. I don't know Baal Peh, but like it's like a parak in But Bakama, like I learned when I was a kid, like I know that bit. And Reb Steinman went with it. He said, you can get the Lexus, nobody's going to be jealous. No problem. Meaning, they understand, okay, fine, that's not a problem. Covered, chashivas, is Torah. Is Torah. That's mamish chashivas. That you have a fancy car, chashiv. But that you give to Torah learning, that's chashiv. That's chashiv. There's certain people that give a lot of money to Torah, a lot. And the way that it's beautiful to see that the tzaddikim give them a tremendous. Rabbi Shiur made a Sheva Brachos here. You know that? The Olam was here. He made a Sheva Brachos. So one of the chassidim who shteled out a lot of money and gives a lot of money. So he shteled out. It was a very nice Sheva Brachos. Mamish beautiful. So Eade Shiur wanted him to mamish speak and say beautiful words. Accordingly, that person that's supporting that much Torah should come into the world, he himself is causing that leda. It's a chashuv thing. That's why Yisachar and Zvulun were, so deeply aligned. There was one time that the Aaron Cutler is at Sal, the Rashiva of Lakewood, was speaking about what do you do when you speak at a dinner? You speak about Yisachar Zvulun. So he was speaking it out. I'm not sure if he brought it at Nachman, but he was speaking it out to such a degree that all the schar is going to the Taimchei Torah, those that are supporting. And he made it like you mamish have the schar. And it's true. All the Makairos tell us that. So the Talmidim, some of them went up to Rabban later. They said, Rebbe, you made it sound so good that we should be those that are supporting Torah, not the ones that are learning Torah. Should we all just go to work? He said, if we mamish have the same olam haba, mamish, then he said, you're right. It's the same olam haba. But what's going to be with your olam hazeh? Sweet Torah learning. Okay, fine. But yeah, it's the same olam haba. Okay, that's a nice board that he told all the chavis, Rabbi, you know what it means to be in Yavamas man in Lakewood with Reb Aaron? This is the olam haba in olam hazeh. That's a nice word. It's amazing. Learning Torah is amazing. But the Toimchei Torah is a chashuv thing. This is the Yarchei Seim Tztananais, is that all of the damim are rushing up to the womb. They're giving it out, allowing a leda to happen, and then it courses back through the body, and it was in their schus. It's a nifla. Nifla. And like the Zohar was teaching us, it's allowing Shefa to come through all the worlds. All the worlds. Ki gama alocha hi bechinas haylada. Ki yesh toimchei hayraisa shenoisten mam l'loim de Torah. Ubetchila heim mechasrim mamoyim me'atzman. In the beginning they don't have. Ki keshenoisten amam l'tamet chacham. Nechsar etzlam. There's less to them. Shezeh bechinas yarcha yiseh mitztananais. Ki domim tarti mashma. Dam tarti mashma means that dam can mean literally dam, or can mean money. In Reb Nachman, in other places, says that a person has to be careful that all of his money is earned in honest ways. It's interesting, even people speak, I paid for this through my blood. That there's a connection. That also dam is something that is like the basic life force of a person. And that's why when a person works, he puts a lot into it. And all that work turned into that paycheck. So when you give tzedakah, that's like such a giving of like dam. Yes.
They say like blood, sweat, and tears.
That's right. And mamish, I gave the whole thing. So Nahman's saying that the damim is tarti mashma, which means they're giving their dam, but it means they're giving the dam to the womb to create the child, which means they're the one that's bringing new halacha, that new insight, new shefa from the highest worlds. Can you imagine what that means? Like that you're helping to bring shefa because Eade Shiur has what he needs to do. I try to give a lot to tzaddikim, as much as I can, and I get excited by certain things. Like, if I know that I could be responsible, there was a couple years ago, the first time that I saw Rav Tzvi Meyer, Zilberberg, Sheikh Lulav and an Esrog. So, I don't know if anybody's ever experienced that, but you know that humanity is being saved based on those kavanas. And his many esrogim, like different shitas and different types, and the Teimanish and the Chazanish and everything. And beautiful. And that next year I said, I don't know how or what, but I need to buy one of those esrogs. Not that I want to buy it for me, I want to buy it for him, for the tzaddik. So I went to one of the top guys, just like, here's a lot of money. I just hope, just put this towards one of the esrogs. Because I just want to be involved, that somehow I could say that I helped to bring whatever that leda of bracha and shefa that's coming down into the world to the esrog, the leiv tahor, barali elikim, baruch nochain chadesh bekirbi, the new chidushay Torah that are going to come into the world through that somehow to be called the legs that are holding up that and bringing that leda into the world. My neshama was like, I just had that. Please, give me the schus of being able to do that. So that's what it means, damim tarti mashma. It's that it's giving the damim, which is the gelt, but it means giving the blood, which means giving that energy that's going to bring a leda into the world. Aval acher kach, but after the dam goes to that place to bring the shefa down into the world, alidei mamoinum shemachzikim atamid chacham. What is the tzaddik doing with the mamoin? Steiging. Noilad halachas. He's learning. He's using that koyach. Im ein kemach ein Torah. If there's no kemach, there's no Torah. But im ein Torah ein kemach. Which means the shefa of a 90,000 Bitcoin coin is because the halacha of there's Torah, and then there's kemach, ein Torah. So the tzaddik is able to learn because he has the kemach. But then im ein Torah, im ein kemach. If there's no Torah, there's no flow of energy coming into the world, then there's not going to be any kemach. But the cycle is yesh Torah, and there's going to be kemach. Yesh kemach, yesh Torah. It's keeping this flow. And that flow is just producing, it's very life-oriented, more shefa, more halacha, more Torah coming into the world. And that's a bechin of chesed. The Torah is chesed, Torah is chesed. And as more halachas come into the world, there's more chesed. Yes, Yosef?
Did you talk about Yisachar and Zephalin?
So they would support each other. That's what Aaron, Cutler was talking about, that they mamish have the same olam haba. They would support each other. That Zevulun would go out to work, and Yisachar was learning, and they each felt they got a better end of the deal. That's always it. It's got to be win-win. Every arrangement should be win-win. Everyone feels like they got the better end of the deal. By the way, the same thing should be with shidduchim. When you find a nice girl, so the ideal situation, everyone's like, I'm so lucky. Look what I got. And she's like, no, look what I got. No, look what I got. That's good. That's nice. And everyone's just like more excited than the next. Like, look what I got. So too does Yisachar and Zevulun. And everyone felt like, unbelievable. Like, I'm zoich. This is amazing. And Zevulun's like, you understand? I get to bring that halach into the world. I got to steal. I only gave like each one had a better end of the deal. And the real Zevulun people chap this, and they just give. The real Zevulun people will say, thank you for the schus of letting me invest in this. Not I guess I'll do my obligations of giving. They chap. You give me a schus to help build this? Could you imagine the schuyos of everyone who built Eisha Torah, who built, the bricks and the stone, that all this Torah is pumping into the world, for Jews all around the world, for humanity. What a schus. And that is a legacy, and that's paying off long-term ROI. You know what I'm saying? So the Rebbe here says a few more little things, and we'll start with this next week, Mitzvah Shem. V'noilad halacha shehem b'chinas chesed, v'aza ali de ashpos ha-chesed chayzu v'nismalech ha-chesron. Once the tzaddik's learning and all the Torah is being learned, so all of that energy pushes back, and the one who was temporarily lacking gets filled back up. Like the Torah says, Maaser Kadesha Tisasha. Give Meiser and you'll see yourself becoming rich. Rabbi Rossman has a friend, really we give 20%, ideally. He has a friend that says, if you give 20% and you don't see a exceptionally siyata d'shmaya things happening for you in your finances, I'll pay you back all the money. He never had to pay one person back. There was one person who took the challenge and said that he didn't see miraculous things happening. Saw good things. And he went to the person and he had everything tallied up. I gave this much, this much. So the person said, you're actually giving it not in the right way. You should give it right away. As soon as the money comes in, you just give it.
Not after taxes.
These are big discussions. Give it right away. And just right off the top to give. He said, I'll pay you back the money that you lost, even though I don't think it was done in the top tier way of giving. Chaimish. I'll pay you back. It was like $15,000 or something. Which is very nice. And then since then, he's been doing it like in the D1 way. And now he's mamish. He hasn't gone back. He hasn't gone back for Maaser Kadesha Tis Asher. Because it's amazing that Reb Nachman is giving you this analogy and this way of thinking, is that once the birth happens, that's so much more shefa coming into the system that you help to hold up. And the Yarach HaSeh Mitzdanan is the legs become filled again, coursing with proper circulation and blood and alive. And then there's children in the world, there's goodness in the world, that you are bringing that into the world. Reb Nachman tomorrow is going to speak. Tomorrow just means, the next Reb Nachman, because it's always, Reb Nachman is going to speak about that all of this is what's called Shashua Olam Haba, the pleasures of the world to come, just birthing more and more and more and more. Birthing. And then he's going to speak about how all of this is hinting to what it means that we have a sun and a moon. The secrets of the sun and the moon. And that the sun is this constant energy of being mashpia, but the moon is waxing and waning. The moon gets less, but then it gets again more. Less. It appears like, oh no, it's ending. But sure enough, it grows once again. Which is one of the secrets of the Jewish people. That even if it looks like we're waning, this is the secret of King David HaMelech, who's compared to the moon. Even if it looks like we're waning, we will wax once again. B'ezrat Hashem. We'll see tremendous bracha and shefa and life coming into the world. We should be zeicha mamish to Mashiach Tzidkeinu b'mhera v'yiminu. Amen. Amen. Oyen shalom yeveyu, shen shem yeyeyu, en shem yeyadava olam kla. Rabbeinu shoah v'kol gavada, en shem yeyeyu, shen shem yeveyu. And Shayad Baba Wailam Kla Misag Edoila Liyam Besim Liyam Besim Besim Gadam Ami Misag Edoila Liyam Besim Liyam Besim Besim Gadam Ami Yamdiri Damdiri Damdiri La 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 Ya La 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 Yamdiri Damdiri La Yamdiri Damdiri Damdiri La 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 Ya La 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 it's song in the Liyam Besim Liyam Besim Shkoyach, Shachder.